I had been sick for 3 days with a cold. The worst part about the colds that I got were the sore throats. I could deal with a stuffy or running nose, even a cough, but I hated having to deal with a sore throat. This one had gotten to the point where I almost couldn't use my voice at all, and had to resort to writing what I wanted to say on a whiteboard if it wasn't something I could just nod my head to answer. I had been laying in bed for most of the morning when my mom came in to say goodbye. "Hey sweetheart, we're going to work now, okay? We'll be gone for most of the day, so take it easy and call us if anything comes up, okay?" I just nodded my head to respond since that's all I could really do. "Alright, see you later." She walked over to my bed and kissed my forehead before she left. When my parents went to work, I was the only one in the house. My brother usually went with them to help out with some heavy lifting or whatever else they needed. It was good. For them and for me, because I got the peace and the quiet I needed to rest. I heard the truck pull out of the driveway and drive off before I closed my eyes to settle back into bed. I was drifting when I heard it, a scratching sound. I opened my eyes and took a look around my room. It wasn't my cat because my door was open, plus he wasn't even close by. When I heard the noise again, I realized where it was coming from. I thought it must have been the wind blowing in through the vent that made those weird noises. That happens sometimes, so I didn't think much of it. I laid back down and relaxed. I don't know when exactly I fell asleep, but I must have been asleep for a few hours. It was getting late and it was still quiet around the house, so no one was home yet. My parents would work late sometimes, so that was pretty normal. It just meant that I would have to make dinner for myself. So I got out of bed and ignored the dull ache in my head. I went to the kitchen and grabbed a can of chicken noodle soup. Then I heard the scratching again. Now I knew that wasn't the wind. It was louder and different from the noises I knew the wind could make. Maybe something had gotten into the attic and was trying to get out. I didn't hear it again for a while, so I went back to heating up my soup. I'd have to tell my parents when they got home so my dad could investigate it. I barely finished the thought before I heard another scratch. Maybe it couldn't wait. I went to the only opening to the attic in the pantry and looked at the door. Maybe it was a squirrel, or a raccoon or something. Whatever it was, it definitely sounded like it wanted in. I'd never been up in the attic by myself before, but I needed to find out what the hell was making this noise. I grabbed a flashlight from the shelf nearby and climbed up to the door. I pushed it open and pulled myself into the attic. There was only one light bulb hanging from the ceiling, so I turned it on. It only helped a little, and I couldn't see the parts of the attic that were further away. I looked around at the area that was illuminated. So far, nothing. I might have scared it off. I actually hoped I had, but just in case, I decided to check the whole attic. I turned on the flashlight and started to walk around. I had to be careful where I stepped because the attic wasn't completely finished, and we mainly used it for storing old things we hardly used anymore. After a while of searching, I hadn't found anything. No scratch marks, no holes where something could have come in, no mess, nothing. I started to head back to the door when I noticed some movement out of the corner of my eye. I turned my head in the flashlight to get a better look at what it was. I completely froze once I got a good look. A hand. It was a hand, and it was touching one of the ducks. But more importantly, it was attached to someone. Someone alive. I couldn't move, but I did manage to move my flashlight to see who it was. I couldn't believe what I saw. In the corner of the attic were my parents and my brother. It looked sick and practically lifeless, like animals that had been kept in a cage without being fed. Of all the jumbled thoughts that were running through my mind at that moment, one stood out like a blaring sign. If my family had been in the attic for so long, then who the hell was pulling into the driveway now?